Good morning, it's the Iowa Prairie Girl. It is Labor Day 2020 and I am at Wilkeson Park in Rock Falls, Iowa, Sarasota County. That is in the top section of Iowa. And today I'm on the prairie looking at rough Blazingstar. Now it's early fall, the sunflower-like flowers are all blooming, we've got goldenrod going crazy, there's some gentian starting to bloom here in the prairie, and then we have the Blazingstars. Now these Blazingstars have been blooming since July. They bloom from July to September, so it's starting to get to the end of their season, but they still offer a great splash of purple to the prairie, beautiful colors, an electric purple, rosy color, and then they also are a wonderful source of nectar for butterflies. Just as I was walking up, there was a monarch butterfly on this plant feeding off the nectar. So they're getting ready to migrate to Mexico and getting fed up or fueled up on nectar from this rough Blazingstar. So we're going to take a look, or I'm going to talk about today about rough Blazingstar. We'll look at how to identify it and where you can find it. Rough Blazingstars are a very hardy plant. They grow in prairies where there's full sun, and they like dry areas, almost kind of a rocky area. They are very drought resistant. They have an underground storage system, I would say. So as all prairie plants have very deep roots, the rough Blazingstar has a corm, which is like a fiber covered stem, like a bulb. And in that bulb, it stores a lot of energy, and it also can swell up during the rainy times and save water in it. And so when we get into the drought season, or if it gets to be real dry, the plant can get its water from that swollen corm that it has. It also stores energy in that system, so it can make it through the winter. Now, I've read that rough Blazingstars, because of this system, they can last for up to a couple decades. There's even a belief that you can count the fibers on this corm like you would a tree, and it can identify how old the plant is. Some think that rough Blazingstars can get to be 30 to 40 years old. Others say that they at least can live a decade. So a really neat plant. If you want to put it out in your prairie or in your garden, it should be very hardy and it should last. And like I said, it's going to add that splash of color later in the summer. There's always train whistles in all my videos. Another name for rough Blazingstar is tall Blazingstar. This one here in front of me is about 4 feet tall. They can get to be, they average between a foot to 5 feet tall, and I'd say the average height here at Rock Falls is about 2 to 3 feet tall. And as you can see, it's a very erect, straight plant. The stem is a greenish to red color with very fine white hairs on it that makes it a rough feeling. And then its leaves are also rough feeling. The basal leaves are can get up to be, get one out here for you. The basal leaf you can see is a much longer leaf. It gets up to be about 12 inches long and about 1 inch wide, and it is kind of a rough feeling to it as well. And then as the leaves come up the stem, they alternate and they become much, much smaller. They are about 3 inches long and very narrow, almost like a grass-like. They have a very defined central stem that you can see if you look real close at it. And they also are covered with fine white hairs, which gives them the rough feeling. So there's how we come up with the rough Blazingstar. As you can see, the flowers grow up in like a spike up the stem. They have a very short petiole or stalk, and they start blooming at the tip first. So this plant, these have already bloomed, and now as it works its way down, they start to bloom at the bottom. I'm trying to get you up close to the flower of the of the blazing star here. This plant was bent over, a vine had caught it, or it somehow got caught in a vine, so it was bent over. They'll also bend over if they're in actually too wet or too fertile of ground. So these are the flowers of the rough blazing star, also called button blazing star, or button gay feather, or tall gay feather, or rough gay feather. So what are those terms? So button refers to the flower head. They kind of do look like a button, and before they bloom, they also have a cute little bud that really looks like a little button. So button. Also, gay feather is a common term for blazing star. Blazing gay feather because they do appear to have a feathery look to them. And then the blazing star is because they have like a star-like appearance to them as well. All the fluffiness to them, they look like a star. So each plant, I've read, could have up to 150 flower heads. This plant has, I counted them, it has 39. And so you have all these different flower heads, and again they bloom from the top going down. Start blooming at the top in July, and here we are in September, and the ones at the bottom are blooming. And then each of these this is in the aster family, and each of these has a cluster of small disc flowers in them. This is a composite flower, but unlike sunflower composites, they do not have any ray petals. They just have disc petals. And so there are between 25 to 40 little flower heads inside each of these, making up each of these flower heads. Each of those discs have 5 lobes, so it's a little flower in of itself, and then it has a stigma that comes out, and the stigma is divided. It looks like it's divided into 2, and it's very curly or stringy, and that's what gives us this feathery blazing star appearance, are those stigmas that come out and give us that feather-like appearance. So gay feather kind of goes along with, I got it right here, represents or symbols. It's a symbol for satisfaction, bliss, or happiness. That's kind of where your gay feather term comes from. And then also I mentioned the button blazing star, because of the button-like appearance. The Native Americans used rough blazing star to treat headaches and other pains, and they also used it to reduce fevers. They could make a tea from the leaves, and that was used for upset stomachs, and also as an antiseptic wash for wounds. And then another name for this plant is button snakeroot, and it was used to treat snake bites. And so you have the button, like I mentioned, the button flower, and then it was used to treat snake bites. The corm, also that I mentioned, in times of severe lack of food, the corm was also eaten when necessary. So it is the end of summer, and like I mentioned, we have the blazing stars, these conspicuous star-shaped flowers out in the prairie that are providing wonderful source of nectar to bumblebees, insects, and butterflies. And the monarch butterflies stop here at Wilkinson Park on their way to Mexico. It's a beautiful sight to see. I have been here at times where there are butterflies just floating all over the prairie and stopping on all these spiked purple flower heads. Alright, that's what I know about rough blazing star. I thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you can take an opportunity to get out and find some blazing star. And as always, I hope that you get out and enjoy the outdoors. And as you're out there, I hope that you see something wonderful. This is Iowa Prairie Girl. Thanks for watching.